freedom of press. I mean, that's the most important one, and that's the one they go after.
Oh, Jim Jordan. Boy, it's a good thing those whistleblowers have free speech. Am I right?
I know. They're chatty.
The Democrats, one Democrat described the witnesses so far as a dumpster fire. A Republican has said it's very much amateur hour. Airing this stuff on live TV would make us look like morons. Okay. That means you must get me. You know who. Heavens. How about those whistleblowers, Glenn Kirschner?
Yes, Steph, the best whistleblowers money can buy.
By Cash Patel. Oh, my God. You knew there was something up, right? As a lifelong prosecutor, when you saw Jim Jordan open up and go, I've got dozens of whistleblowers that have come to me, and Dan Goldman's like, did you take any notes? Do you have any, right? And these are apparently the best of the dozens, these three disgruntled cranks that are, conspiracy theorists and God knows what else, right? That's the best they've got.
And Steph, initially, I was troubled that we were going to have these Republican-led hearings, on the weaponized government, et cetera, et cetera. But now, as we watch them play out, all it does is it reinforces that the Republicans can't govern. They won't govern. They're not interested in governing. And so at this point, I'm like, you know what? Air all of these Republican-led hearings, because it's like you're streaming a comedy series.
Yes.
And let's have a look at it all.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were saying, I guess what I didn't anticipate is how great our side is. I mean, not only they're smarter, but they're just armed with the facts, and they have just made mincemeat of these Republicans, I think, thus far. So what? I mean, what happens now with this Weaponization Committee and these? I mean, they've already been thoroughly. I mean, God, if you had these people as witnesses, right? Just their social media. We love that we were saying their lawyer begged the Democrats to stop asking questions about their social media posts because they're all lunatics, right?
Yeah, Alec Murdaugh looks credible as compared to some of these clowns that the Jim Jordans are presenting to the American people. But, let them continue to circle the drain and expose themselves as what they are. What I think they'll do, Steph, is they'll begin to move away from their attempt to show that DOJ has somehow been, corrupted and weaponized by the Democrats. Now we're going to start to have hearings on drag shows and on banned books and on all sorts of other nonsense, because that's really all they have.
Yeah. Well, let's talk on the justice front. I'm going on vacation next week, so historically that means that's when there will be indictments.
Right.
You tweeted, Special Counsel Jack Smith goes on offense, asked judge to preemptively order Mike Pence to testify to the grand jury, Smith proving himself to be a different kind of federal prosecutor. You also tweeted District Attorney Fani Willis and Jack Smith are proving to be the 1-2 punch of justice. Might accountability actually be on the horizon? How you feel? Let me take your temperature this Friday.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good because, Jack Smith, the one thing that has really impressed me about him is not only that when he was a federal prosecutor, he went after crooked Republicans, he went after crooked Democrats. He brought really difficult, politically charged cases. He won some, he lost some. I respect a prosecutor who brings the really tough cases, knowing that there is a risk of losing, but being driven by a need to attack public corruption. And remember, Steph, he didn't leave government service and go off to line his own pockets in a law firm. He went to prosecute war criminals. What does that tell you about this man's priorities? So when he's going proactive, he's trying to stop Mike Pence from invoking bogus privileges before Mike Pence even gets the opportunity to open his mouth. These are some really important indicators that we may have the right man for the moment.
Yeah. Well, the other big story, the DOJ said that Trump can be sued by police officers over the violence on J6. Attorneys for the Justice Department's Civil Division made it clear in a court filing Trump does not have absolute immunity from multiple civil lawsuits filed by police officers and members of Congress. They would seek to hold him liable for damages stemming from J6. Speaking to the public on matters of public concern is a traditional function of the presidency, and the outer perimeter of the president's office includes a vast realm of such speech. But that traditional function is one of public communication. It does not include incitement of imminent private violence of the sort the district found plaintiffs' complaints have plausibly alleged here. That's legally kind of a BFD, as someone would say, right?
This is a big deal. First and foremost, it's a big deal for the Capitol Police officers and the members of Congress that were injured, either physically or psychologically, by the Trump-launched attack on the Capitol on January 6th, because DOJ just weighed in and said, you know what, we are usually pretty darn protective of presidential immunity. And I think sometimes DOJ goes overboard protecting the president. But they said, not here, because when you use a speech to incite imminent violence, you do not enjoy any presidential immunity. And the reason it's so important is not only for the litigants in the civil case, right, the people who are suing Donald Trump for damages, but this really does help clear a path for Jack Smith to move in the direction of indictments. Importantly, this is not any kind of precedent in the criminal matter. But if DOJ had gone the other way and they had said, you know what, we really do think he enjoys presidential immunity, and this was protected First Amendment speech, which they also shot down in this court ruling, that would have made Jack Smith's job so much more difficult. So again, this is a really important step in the right direction.
Well, you know, you and I would like justice on every front. At this point, we're all like, I'll take justice on any front. I mean, the second story, of course, is the two poll workers, Shay Moss and Lady Ruby. The J6 committee concluded without recommending any direct criminal or civil penalties against Giuliani, for one, but a civil suit from a pair of Georgia poll workers could be Giuliani's worst nightmare. This is from the I forget which source we're on there. Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss of Fulton County, Georgia, are turning their defamation lawsuit against Giuliani into a no-limits fact-finding mission, according to an undisclosed letter from their attorneys. Daily Beast, They tell Giuliani's defense lawyer that his objections to the J6 committee's questions about interactions with Trump were improper, warning they intend to bulldoze right over them. Giuliani was deposed Wednesday inside a Manhattan skyscraper. What is your take on this? Because, again, these poor women, had to move, have death threats. I mean, it seems like of the same kind of... Trump used this footage at a rally. Like they repeated these lies over and over again.
Trump repeated them long after they were debunked by his own agencies and his own officials. I hope, they're going to take Rudy to the cleaners. There's no two. And if anybody needs to go to the cleaners, it's Rudy. They're going to take him to the cleaners
just to get the shoe polish off.
And because, look, Rudy was caught lying to legislators down in Georgia about the election results. And he was named as a target by Fani Willis in her grand jury investigation. So in this civil suit, you bet that Ruby and Shay will take him to the cleaners.
Yeah.